Good evening, everyone. We're Group 13. Tonight, we'd like to explore the topic of research on the citizens' transmission of gender attributes in social media, focusing on the debate sparked by the invitation of talk show character Yang Li to Gmail.com's Double 11 event. Our presentation is divided into 4 parts. Let's start with the introduction to our study issue. However, we believe you guys have already heard about this public opinion event happened last month, which unfolded in 3 stages. On October 14th, Jingdong.com hosted a live broadcast promoting the upcoming Double 11 shopping festival. However, the invitation of Yang Li triggered a boycott by many male customers who thought her previous comments had suspicious of being sarcastic about men. They avoided to boycott Jingdong.com, arguing that their spending would become a weapon for her to attack them in the future. Jingdong.com apologized for the controversial guest and ended their cooperation immediately, but this did not appease male customers or the female customers, while females seized Jingdong.com's action as a disguised operation of cheap power. And this issue escalated into public opinion events finally. The main theories we use in our study is agenda setting theory and a social identity theory. Firstly, agenda setting theory, introduced by Microms and Sean in 1972, suggested that the media significantly shaped public perception. As the theory evolved, it was found that the main proposition of agenda setting has always been the transfer of issue salience from the media agenda to the public agenda. Based on this, we propose hypothesis 1, which is public agenda's gender attribute intensity is positively associated with public agenda's gender attribute intensity. What's more, we found that there were some studies that focus on the role of attribute salience and perceived salience in the correlation between media agenda and public agenda. We focus on the study did by Kaioses in 2011, which confirmed that media salience correlates positively with public perceived salience. Thus, we suggest that we can add public perceived salience as mediating variables in the relationship between media agenda and the public agenda. Based on our assumptions, we proposed hypothesis 2, which is public perceived salience of gender attributes mediates the relationship between media agenda's gender attribute intensity and public agenda's gender attribute intensity. Secondly, we use social identity theories, which developed by Tuffield and Turner in 1978, positing that individuals categorize themselves into various social groups based on similar characteristics and features, influencing their behaviors and perceptions. In subsequent studies, gender identity as an important part of social identity has been further studied by other scholars. In Maldonado's 2003 studies, which called the impact of gender on advertising processing, a social identity perspective found that gender identity can be activated by gender attributes that's strengthened by advertisement, leading to individuation and in-group bias that impacts audience cognitive mode and perception mode. We believe media agenda's attributes can also activate gender identity in the same way, affecting public salience perception. We integrate this as a motivator in our model. Based on our assumption, we propose hypothesis 3, which is public gender identity positively motivates the relationship between media agenda's gender attribute intensity and the public perceived salience of gender attributes. And here's our conceptual framework as follows. After our evaluation, the theory we use still has some limitation in our research. However, although media agenda setting theory has played a key role in directing public attention, the rise of new media has amplified the public voice, potentially weakening traditional media's control over agenda setting, causing a limitation of our study. So we suggest to use use and gratification theory to improve our conceptual framework, which can explain how individuals actively engage with media to satisfy their needs and desires. What's more, although social identity theory has significant value in revealing group dynamics, it's often overlooked individuals' differences within the group, ignore the influences of individuals' existing cognitive framework on the process of social identity. Thus, we complement this with framework theory, which claims that audience themselves possess unique cognitive frames that plays a crucial role in receiving media information. From conclusion, we have to admit that our study has many limitations. For instance, our research does not address the division of media forms, and we have reason to believe that here are some differences in the influence mechanism of different forms of media in agenda setting. And future research can do a deeper discussion of specific media forms. What's more, with the proposal and the development of network agenda setting, our research still only study the mechanism of issue attributes, which also have certain limitations. Future researchers can do in-depth research on how the media agenda in the new media era impact the public perceived citizens through the way of agenda networking. And however, our references are as follows, and that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.